we go.
Thank you guys for coming. Ever since I was a little girl, I have always loved art. It was very common to find me drawing in a corner with my sketchbook and a pencil hours at a time. Since about the age of 7, up to this point, I have filled up about 16 or more sketchbooks, many canvases with paint, and probably hundreds of pieces of white printing paper. Oh, darn it, guys, I keep going. You're doing great.
You're doing good. You're doing
Love
great.
Fabulous.
When I was growing up, I took several art classes, but most of the time I would be just continue to practice at home on my own or with the help of my dad. Throughout the past couple of years, I have had the opportunity to paint several commissioned pieces for friends, family members, or acquaintances, and that has been a really wonderful opportunity. But of course, I did not start out by painting commissioned pieces for people. I started out like most other children with a crayon in my hand, scribbling on a piece of paper. A couple years ago, my youngest brother, Grant, who also loves art, came up to me and asked me, "Erin, why are you so good at drawing?" And I just simply responded to him, "I practiced." Like my younger brother Grant and myself, there have been many people currently and throughout history who have had goals or dreams that they wanted to accomplish, but they have had to accomplish those things through practice. Because practice precedes success. In this speech, I am going to be defining what practice is, 2 different types of attitudes that many people have towards practice, and then also different ways we can define success. So first off, practice is an action, and we actually do it throughout our lives every day. Pretty much any small thing that we do, any small thing that we do in our lives, we are actually practicing that thing. And depending upon what we practice, our habits and our brains begin to change. Carol Lee Winston, a physical therapist and rehabilitation scientist, said, "Training improves performance and changes the brain." She talks about something called learning-dependent plasticity, which essentially is the brain's ability to learn and change through life experience. So when we focus and practice positive skills or positive thinking, we begin to change for the better and ultimately find success. However, it does work both ways. When we are practicing negative thinking or doing negative things, it ends up becoming harder for us to work towards a goal that we want, and that is because our belief that we are able to do it goes way down. There are several different ways that people will be negative, practice negative thinking towards working towards an accomplishment. Some people, if they weren't born with either a skill or a talent, or they just don't currently have it, will just think that because they don't have that currently, why even try? There's no point, because that will never improve. And then there are other people who have tried once before, but they failed initially. And so they have it in their mind now that why try again, because I might just fail again, and then it would give more people reason to make fun of me or something like that. So these negative effects from practicing those negative beliefs ultimately cause failure, because those negative beliefs hold them back. Like many others, Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right." However, on the other end, when we practice positive thinking, our beliefs that we are able to achieve that goal become stronger and stronger. When we practice positive thinking, we overcome fear of failure and ultimately learn how we can learn from that failure. Henry Ford also said that failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Besides that, practicing positive thinking also helps us to grow from criticism. K. Anders Ericsson and a few of his colleagues wrote an article where they say, real experts seek out constructive, even painful feedback. An example of this in my life was when I was about 13 or 14 years old. I had really decided I wanted to practice drawing more realistically. So I was drawing this picture of a girl and I got super excited. I was like, yeah, this looks so realistic. So I went over to my dad and I showed him. I was super excited. And almost immediately he started pointing out the different reasons it did not look realistic. And then he continued to explain to me that most artists, when they are drawing realistically, will look at a reference, like an actual reference of the thing in real life, either through a picture or if it is in the same room as them. After that, I walked away from that conversation really kind of not happy, really bummed out about what he had said. But then I started practicing what advice he did give me, and I did see a huge improvement over time. And so that really helped me, and I look back on that now and I'm like, really, thanks, Dad, kind of thing. So after hours and hours of practice, many people may ask, how do I know when I have achieved success? What is success? Well, Stephen Covey, author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says, if you carefully consider what you want to be said of you in the funeral experience, you will find your definition of success. And I thought about this and I think how, after I pass away, I want people to remember me for the good things that I did and how I was able to help other people. Other ways I would personally define success is as achieving something good in general. Anytime we achieve just even a really small thing that is good, that is one step towards either your higher goal or just moving forward in your life. Success does not have one destination, but it is a journey that continues on and on. So since that first time that my younger brother asked me that question, I have seen huge improvement in his artwork. Every time he comes up to me and says, hey Aaron, I want to show you this painting that I did, or like drawing, every time I see it, I am more and more amazed than I was the last time. However, he still, over and over again, will occasionally ask me that same question, but I end up answering in the same way. That when he asks that question again, it's his doubt creeping in that he isn't able to do it. But I just remind him success is a process. It will just take time. We need to not give up when we fail once or twice or a million times. But we can, as we continue to not let fear or doubt creep in, we won't be held back. When we move forward and remember that success can be achieved, is really important. And we can do that through continual practice. Thank you.
I shouldn't have been wearing like a long sleeve sweater underneath.